Yo, what's up there guys, it's Immersive Gamer 83 and thank you very much for stopping by. We're jumping back into Gravity Sketch as you can see, and we're going to be continuing with the VA Atomic Corvega. So let's have a little look on there. We should be able to resume last session and it should load up. I did make a couple of amendments based on the last upload. So if I shrink this down here, I've actually tidied up a few of these lines and we're starting to get something which kind of is resembling the vehicle in question. So if we hold this here, we can see that things are starting to look a little bit nicer. Still got a long way to go, still got a lot to tidy up and a lot to improve upon, but overall the progress is going good. And if we rescale the vehicle, you can actually get inside. So there'll be a dash console across here. This is going to be a window as well. So I need to tidy up all of these lines, but overall the actual vehicle itself is looking rather nice. You know, put my arm on the side, look out the window, and yeah, so I'm going to do the main focus of today. I'm going to be tidying up a lot of these little lines here and hopefully completing the outline of the actual front of the car. So the back is mostly done, as in like the core framework of it, and it is actually looking quite nice. We've got a little compartment in here which the little nuclear reactor sits, so it's going to be very nice. So hopefully we'll get these lines looking very nice. I've spent a little bit of time making like the actual framework a lot nicer, removing a lot of the points, so hopefully we're going to get things looking quite nice. So yeah, without further ado, let's start trimming up and shaping. So these points here as well, so by clicking the trackpad and anything inside the ball is selected, and once we press the menu button on the left side of the controller, we activate this mode where we can now change the size of individual nodes and the quantity of nodes as well. These little pieces here, you can also delete out individual ones as well. It's a little bit tough to see, but if you grip on the individual ones, you can shrink down the actual size of the nodes as well, and get everything looking a lot more cleaner. So this tends to be a little bit tedious. You know, I wish there was a a way to do this quicker. There probably is. I'm just probably lacking in knowledge slightly, but you know, I'm still new to this, but every day is a school day, you know. But overall, I'm very happy with how things are going so far, and the general shape is coming along quite nicely. Spent a little bit of time getting this arch here to fit with this one. So the actual shape of the arch coming over here does resemble this one quite well. I think that this point here needs to come closer, so I might need to adjust this line here. But these are things that we can do gradually, and I don't think it's a quick process unless you're very skilled with the application and understand exactly what you're doing. So you know, that is something that will take a bit of time, unfortunately. So I'll be interested to hear in the comments your thoughts so far, and yeah, anything you'd like to see going forward. I do ideally need to get this piece here, which is this line, to line up exactly and cross section the doors across the points where it natively does. So I can probably get that done today as well, but I'm hopefully just ideally going to get the front completed and looking good. another thing as well, which I mentioned last time, is if you select a point here, this may not be the original line which you drew, because we're currently mirroring. So as you can see, it only highlights half of the vehicle, so that although you selected this side, you might need to amend this side, which in turn mirrors it back there. So depending on what you drew, it really does depend on which piece you can edit. But essentially it does all come back to the same point, and it does work out in the end. So hopefully I'll be able to actually import this model. Once I've got everything lined up, I should be able to import it. So fingers crossed, we'll be able to get it looking very nice. Okay, so this one is probably a nice easy one I can amend. So I should be able to actually start reducing the size of individual nodes, make it look a lot more uniform and a lot cleaner. If it's a straight line like this as well, you can actually remove some of these points. You can actually move them along and it will change what the line looks like, but you can also just completely delete out the ones you don't need. And as this is a completely straight line, it will literally make point A to point B a perfectly straight line, which is exactly what we want. I do need to have a little look at some of these features closer up as well to try and map it as best as possible. Another handy thing as well is if you're working on a specific part of the car like this one, this picture is completely transparent, so you can just flip it around and it matches to what you need. So we can then look at it in a very similar context to what you're trying to match up to. So this line here actually looks quite nice, so I'm very happy with this piece here. This reflects that there, so this needs to overhang a slight little bit more, which I should be able to do that relatively easy. So I want to make this piece here look a little bit better, because at the moment I'm not completely happy with how that sits. I'm probably going to be working on this sort of content until my kitchen's done. I'm in the process of getting the kitchen sorted out, so everything out the kitchen is in the living room. So room scale setup is completely gone. I do apologise about that as well, I've got a bit of a frog in my throat. Alright, let's have a little look. So I think that needs to go quite close to the edge. I think it needs to be a lot skinnier as well. I can delete that point. We'll clip that on the end. So if you want to move the whole piece, you can just press the back button, highlight it with the grip button, and then you start moving the objects. But if you look behind, I'm actually moving both pieces there. And then you can match up the lines exactly as you want. So that looks like a good point to start, and then we can amend it and add more points as we need to. So that looks quite good. This top line looks a little bit. Let's have a look. Could do moving that piece over. Okay. And this piece actually starts to round off now, so we should be able to start adding more points in, like so. Okay, so these pieces here were originally the top-down view. So if you look across the top, this was what the bird's eye view of the door would look like. So now there's going to be like an arch going down here, which hopefully this line here is going to help represent that. So we should be able to just actually delete these pieces completely. We can shrink these up and we should be able to oh, hang on, wrong one. We should be able to shrink these points down and actually reduce some of these points as well. So we can remove these ones. In fact, I might even be able to remove that completely and then just drag this one over. Yeah, that worked okay. There's quite a lot of points in here as well, so on this line I need to reduce the amount of nodes quite heavily. definitely need to tidy up these pieces here. Can probably remove some of these as well, and I do want the line to be a little bit curved. Do need a little bit of curvature. That might be too much. And again, if you do get stuck, you can always have a look at it from a different angle, from above, and cross-reference it. That pretty much looks like a uniform line all the way down, so I can reduce that a little bit. And from side on, again it looks pretty straight, which means we can lose a little bit of this arc here. That's a whole lot nicer. And then we can move this one down. And then once we've decided, we can actually remove this down and reduce the line size and work out the actual arc of the door. So what we could do for this as well is actually resize this image to a point where you can kind of see what's going on. Grab the piece that you need and then actually change the shape, the size I mean, of the vehicle so it lines up. Might be able to work with lower actually, so it's more a natural angle to draw. Okay, so that looks quite good there. I need probably a little bit more size. Okay, yeah, you can see the edge of the vehicle there. So as a rough approximation, that's pretty decent. So we should be able to actually go in now and reduce the points until they meet the actual line. So there, looks good. Boom. I'm not too worried about being so exact at looking at it from this far away. I might try and line these doors up as well a little bit. If I line the doors up, then the rest should fit in well enough. So as you can see, the doors are a telling tale that it's not an exact replica, which is, you know, fine as well. But if we can get the most of it looking pretty good, there we go, black, yeah, there we go. If I can just trace where this is supposed to be as well, so I can come over here. We can get a rough idea of the shape there, and we can start here and get a rough idea of the shape there. Okay, so also this line here, if I can move this back a little bit, goes most of the way along the side of the car up to there. So that actually is quite good. So I can leave that there as it is. Trying to work out what the bottom does. Does it go under the door? I think it actually goes under the door, yeah. That's good as well then, okay. So now I can roughly place these Yeah, looks good. Again, we can change the lateral position of it, because at the moment that's a bit skewed to where the rest of the car is. But we know the rough approximation of where it sits. Okay, I'm actually pretty happy with how this is going, to be honest. And then we can edit the line, but the problem is we drew this line on the other side initially, so as you can see it's actually the other side that it wants us to edit, because this is the side we initially drew it on, which is not the end of the world, but it does mean we have to flip the image. So I wish you could edit both sides independently, or together. That would be nice. Maybe that's a feature that we could get added in. Oh dear, another problem which I did not foresee. That should have mirrored it, but it didn't, so it's not remembered my settings. Okay, right, so we can go on settings and mirror. So that now should be okay, but what I'm going to do is copy this piece and place it on the other side. Although the thing about doing that is it's not exact, which is slightly annoying, and when I edit that it won't edit that, so unfortunately I'm going to redraw it. Okay, but it's one of those things that we just, you know, you learn as you go, and you make mistakes and you learn by the mistakes that you make. Okay. Alright. So we can now reduce this line on this side there. And this lower line can actually be dropped a little bit. If I grab this back image, you can see it does actually change the line that I'm looking at. Okay, so now I can hopefully draw this little arc. Yep, and across. Yep. So this point here going up is the side of the vehicle. And there's also this line here is this line here, so although it sits fine that way, it doesn't quite look right from the side here. I do want to actually start working on the front soon as well. So this is good stuff though, it's all learning. Okay, so from the side this is going to need to be more of a rounded position, but overall I'm relatively happy with the placement of that. This actually looks okay, and I can now extend this one over until it hits the line. And this one here we can amend the curvature. And where needed, tweak it so it's more parallel. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Looks nice. And these pieces can be removed. I actually do need to add a piece in there and touch on this line. now I can actually start connecting these lines together so they're actually touching the body of the car. So these bottom lines don't look too bad. I might try and move this out of the way and get a more clear image. We'll get a bit closer so we can clearly see there's gaps there. So we need to add some more points in. Okay, so these points are looking closer. Don't want to mess with the oval shape too much, but I do need to make sure that those sit relatively well. Don't know what I did there, but it scares me. Alright, there we go. If I can grab the whole piece there. Yeah, I don't know what I did there either. And some of these lines can be taken out. I'm sure from this point on we should be able to delete these middle two. I will test that theory in a second. Actually move this one on the cross section so we know it's touching. Delete that, move that in a little bit. Okay, yeah, looks good. And then same sort of story really. I should be able to actually delete this and that and that. And then situate that on the cross point there. And this one here, delete that. Yep, happy with that. I'm going to put another point on this door and then extend it over to the edge so it connects. And all of a sudden the body of that vehicle is looking, at least at the bottom end, a lot better. Okay, yep, bang on. And yep, bang on. Very nice. Okay, this one looks a little bit off. We'll try and yeah, it looks good. We'll start working on the top with this piece. So it's I think I need another point of reference now. That bit's touching, this one's out there, and I should be able to just, oh sugar, add another line in, which is what I'm going to do. There. And pull that across there. Delete that. Okay. Nice. And this bit, not so nice. sometimes when you make an amendment it can actually affect other parts, whereas this one doesn't look as round as I was hoping it would. It almost sticks out, you can see. So I might try moving this point closer across. Oops. Now it's not straight. Okay. Right, so overall that looks pretty decent. From the side on, it looks alright as well. Yeah. Okay, so I might have a little chance to check in, have a look at the comments, see if we've got anyone in. Possibly not, and that's fully fine. In fact, I'm going to save it because knowing my luck, it will crash the game. Always tends to be my luck. Save, save, save. So we'll have a look, see if anyone is actually tuned in, and if you are tuned in, have you got any questions? Ah, Flat Over Crest watching, very nice, always a pleasure, never a chore. So now we've got the first bit out of the way, I am tempted, rather than tidying up these lines straight away, although actually yeah, that's probably a quick fix. I might just get on with that. Alright, so bang, I'm going to get right in there and start changing the size. Okay, there's a lot of points on this roof. I can probably remove some of these points. I don't know if adding a lot more points adds a lot more performance impact. I'd imagine it would. The more you add, the more it will affect, I presume. Kind of wish that I'd have made these lines a lot tidier at the start, but it is difficult to gauge, to be honest. And it is nice though that they made it in the other side at the same time, so it's half. If you do mirror for vehicles, generally speaking, you can half your work, because usually vehicles tend to be very similar, or at least have a lot of features that are the same. Okay, so that's cool. I'll have a little look here. I can probably remove some of these, so maybe that one, get rid of that. I can probably remove these as well. Try that one. Yep, looks good. Okay, so that looks a lot cleaner now. This center line, I'm going to work on that and reduce some of those. This center line is actually not a mirrored line, and that was done intentionally. And it's not perfectly central as well, which is, I couldn't work out a way of doing it accurately. So yeah, I'm going to do it by eye. Oh, it's actually two sections, it's actually two parts. Another good way of working out where the middle is as well is by getting something that you know is mirrored, like this piece, and then finding the center line, and you can see where it wants to join there. It's got like a, I don't know what the terminology is, but it kind of hooks, and that's where it wants to hook. So that point there where the gap is, you know, is the center line. So I'm probably gonna bang another point so I know. Oh, I've done something there. I need to remove that. I might just move this point over so it's in the center line. I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep this the full length. I'll probably cut it off at the bonnet here, but I just need to get the rough outline of the shape of the front. So when I do start working on the front, we can start getting it proper in place. So if I just whack that down in there and try and work out the center line, probably there, whack it there, and we can adjust this so it actually fits inside. Yeah, so maybe there. We'll see. Looks about right there. Yeah, looks about right. And then we can move what we've got. So these points here, I can actually start lining these up with the outside part roughly. Cool. And then we'll start a new one. And we can move these forwards and backwards as we need to, and amend it and change it and bend it and, you know, improve on it. So all these pieces here are off. We can straighten them out. We can reduce the count of the amount in there. There we go. Make it look a bit tidier. And then if I go a little bit more forward, I can actually draw another one relatively close. I'm gonna check to make sure I'm mirrored, so I should be. Yeah, we're mirrored. I'm gonna draw a little bit in front of the other one, so we should be able to get a good idea. A little bit of shake going on there. That's actually me, rather than the can't blame it on the app there, that's pretty much me. Nice. Can probably reduce some of these down as well, so I'll get rid of them. Get rid of them. I can get rid of those two. Move that one up. I'm probably making a meal out of this, you know what I mean? I'm making it take a lot longer than it needs to. But in all honesty, you know, it's quite fun. It's quite fun. I can get rid of these as 3, I think. Yep. And then I'll do another one. And another one. yeah, that's a bad line. Be easier just to redraw that bit. Okay. Just a case of moving slowly and slightly adjusting the ones to make the curves slightly better. And also these are going to be quite fat lines as well, I imagine. Okay. So this is looking good. Okay, so there's, do one more. Hang on, that top one looks disgusting. Let's have a look. Is it that one? It's hard to get in. I might zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so that one needs to be down. Okay. Cool. So I'll probably make that a bit bigger actually. Alright, so these bumpers are from the side on in image. So if you can look over on where's the side view? I think it's, yeah, that one over there. The very front points over here and here. So these are rough sketches. I can remove these. These are just sort of reference images, and we'll sort of try and tie them up together. That might happen in a different video, to be honest, but I'm just gonna eyeball this. I think another way of getting circular shapes as well, because the thing is, circles in this are quite tough to get a very nice perfect circle. So a good way of doing that is by we have a look on here. I'm trying to think, is it this one? No. There's a way of grabbing shapes. Got pictures there. In fact, I think it's in this tool set. So yeah, we can choose geometric shapes, and we can oh, they do actually have a circular shape. Huh, what do you know? Wow, did not know that. That is very handy. I'm sure there was a hexagon shape though that was better. What's this? Cylinder super ellipsoid. What the fuck is that? The primitive shapes used to have a hexagon. The sphere is probably the way to go, so we'll just try and do that. I'm sure we can reduce the size to maybe to something. I don't know. Will that work? If I put it in deep enough, then surely that should pop out just where needed. That would be pretty cool. That is interesting. Okay. I wonder if there's a way of getting a flat circle. What about this? Oh, possibly. Oh. Ooh. And then can I grab it and make it smaller? Oh yeah, look. Perfect. Awesome. So we can grab these balls and delete them. Boom. Nice. That's very handy. I wonder if I can make a slightly fatter variant. We'll delete them. So maybe, oh yeah, look at that. I love it. I love it. And then make it smaller. Yeah. Ooh, very nice. Bang. That's exactly what we wanted. Something just like that. And we can actually make a clone of that and get these bottom ones smaller. Like that. Boom. Very nice. That's exactly what I wanted. I could probably do these bottom ones being a bit fatter though. Wonder if there's a way to do that in edit mode. Yes. Alright, so we'll go back to tool set, we'll get the ink and we'll move this back over. So, although it looks janky and I've not messed around with the angles yet, it's actually coming on quite nice. And I know I talk about this bit quite a bit, I can actually move these forward and they should, that's coming on really well. Oh yeah, I'm super impressed. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. Ooh. Lovely. So yeah, that front, obviously I need to work on it. It's very rough and I've not spent the amount of time pulling it and pushing it, and you know, I could quickly make that a lot nicer. So the front obviously is very short and indented. That's just a quick fix of grabbing bits, pulling them forward till they match up, you know. Same with this one. Same with this one. And just playing around, generally messing around with it, you know what I mean, until it looks alright. So, who knows? Hang on, let's have a look at the side bit. The side bit looks further back, so probably like that, maybe. Yeah, like that. Yeah, so look, just doing that, it looks a lot better. And then this line coming off here, which is this one, kind of tucks in under the light. So I can amend that and then start adding points on. If I look at it again for reference, in fact I might just move it because I can look at it at the same time then. Where are we? So, oh, I don't know what I did there. I can maybe undo. What did I do? What did I do? What did I do to that? Oh, there we go. That's that line I was referring to. So I should be able to just grab that one point and continue pulling it round. So there's like a little knuckle just on the edge of this piece here where it kind of goes back on itself. So it kind of goes down here and then goes towards the light like that. And then it's sort of like a shape that goes up. This piece needs rounding, definitely needs rounding, so we can start probably reducing the amount of reference points there. And that point goes all the way around. I might even pull these back a little bit. Something like that. Yeah man, this is sick. This side point needs to disappear slightly. So there's that 1 point we were talking about. We can add that up, zoom in, so it hits the front. Boom. Haha. There's also this round bit. I know I need to make that. That's going to be just a case of creating the shapes and moving it. Pretty happy though. This thing's coming on leaps and bounds. So that might be a good point to end in a second. I'm just going to probably off camera tidy up some of these fat lines so they all look nice and slender and uniform. And then we can start skinning. And what we mean by skinning, I tend to show this piece every single time. Oh, that needs moving as well. Was that not attached? Ah, it's moved. Boom. Boom. And I don't know why that happens, but it's fucking annoying. Especially when you've spent ages lining shit up. But yeah, so skinning. It's a process of... Hang on, that didn't want to do that. There we go. Right. Wrong line. There we go. So skinning is in this menu. We get this piece here. You can choose a colour that suits you, whatever. I tend to choose quite neutral colours because they can be a bit fucking crazy. So probably something a bit more grey and uniform like that. And then with this piece here, we can select the curvature, which doesn't look very much. We can have that fairly reduced. And yeah, when you hold in the left trigger, you get this arc. And this arc point can be used and stretched, and then you can use it to actually start skinning the vehicle. So if I make that nice and big, I've got a nice working angle, so I know I can reach the end of that and come back. I can get my arc at the approximate angle I need, and then start skinning. Boom. And again, this is an editable piece. We can click on it. It's just a case of moving the bits in where you want them. Start tucking stuff in behind the little black lines so it sits nice and pretty. And before you know it, you're quite a long way to getting a complete model. You know, it doesn't take long to do this shit. Once you've actually set up your strong foundation, you can start clipping pieces in and, you know, moving lines around. And if you need another line, you can always add a bit in. So bang, yeah, I'll add another bit in here, and you know, you can adjust stuff as you need. Oh, hang on, wrong bit. I can delete those bits there. Yeah, I can probably remove that one as well. So yeah, before you know it, you've skinned some panels on your vehicle, and it looks pretty fucking sick. And then, you know, hopefully at one point we'll have a lovely model, and once the model's completed, I can actually import it to Modbox and rig it to drive and actually start driving this thing. So I have also got some reference shots, not very detailed mind you, but just of the interior. Oh, wrong one. So you can kind of see this is a rough version of what the interior would look like. So I can start building roughly what it looks like, and then use reference pictures from actual from actual in-game shots to, you know, I've done something to that and I didn't mean to. So I need to back it up, rewind the clock. There we go, fixed. The undo button is a saviour. So what I'm going to do now, save again. Corvega Mark II. probably a good point to call this one, guys. 55 minutes, a whole lot of nothing got done on this one, but hopefully you can see where I'm going with it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I do hope to catch you on the next one. Take care, guys. Bye bye.